Mrs. Banky here. I'm wanting to talk to you about some of the lab equipment in my room, especially for those of you who are absent. So the first item that we're going to look at is over on the wall near my desk. And on this wall near my desk, there are some red switches. These are gas cutoff switches, and pushing them stops all of the gas from coming to the gas jets that are located on the demonstration table here and also in the lab at each station. The reason we would want to push one of these is if there's a fire in the room, we don't want any danger of possibly the gas in those lines becoming ignited. So another time that these would get pushed is if there is a fire alarm. Typically what I will do before exiting my room is I will push the gas cutoff switches to prevent any catastrophe from happening because of the gas in this room. So gas cutoff switches right there. They're both off now. Now I need a key to open that gas back up, and I can do that at any time. Moving on over to the opposite side of the room. In this corner I have a first aid kit. The first aid kit is very basic, well stocked, containing gauzes, tapes, bandages and compresses and such. I've honestly never had to use it. I do keep Band-Aids in stock in a little basket, so if you ever need Band-Aids you can stop in, and that is the most I've ever had to use instead of in terms of first aid. But it is located here. Another item that you can see near here is the broken glass bin, and I'm just going to walk around to that side. You can see that there's a lot of glass in there, and this, I saved this from last year. This was about the last month of school and a little bit of summer school. So you can see that a lot of glass gets accumulated. And my point in sharing this with you is that glass frequently breaks. And it is common. You will not get in trouble. The only way you would get in trouble if glass broke is if you were deliberately trying to break it, or if you broke something and didn't tell me about it. I was informed that last year somebody broke a stirring rod in another class and put the broken stirring rod back in the container that held the stirring rods, and someone ended up getting cut because of that broken stirring rod. You will not get in trouble for breaking glass. If it does break, I prefer to be the one to clean it up and to prevent you from getting cut. And this is where I will put it. So, broken glass container, glass will break, you will not get in trouble, so please do not try to hide anything. The next place in the room that we're going to go is on the back wall. And the first item that I want to show you is the Eyewash Station. The Eyewash Station works either by pulling forward or pushing back. And if you were to get a chemical splashed in your eye, which technically should never happen because you would be wearing your chemical splash goggles at all times, but if you were to get a chemical in your eye, you would have to turn the water on and open your eyes, hold them very wide, and the Flynn Scientific Safety Contract that I've given you as a resource says that you want to hold your eyes in that stream of water. I don't want to do this as a demonstration because I really don't want to get my eyes wet, but hold your eyes in there for 20 minutes. That's the suggested time to hopefully remove any chemical that might be in there. Just a side note, you may not use this as a drinking fountain, or a bubbler, as people in Wisconsin call it. You may not use this as you can in some of the other science rooms because the water drains out onto the floor rather than into the pipe, and I don't want water on the floor if not needed. Obviously, if we have to clean somebody's eyes, that would not be a concern. Above it is the safety shower. The safety shower puts out very large volumes of water very fast. And the diameter of the stream of water that comes out is like this, and it comes out at a high rate with much force. The reason you would want to use a safety shower is if you get a chemical spill on your body that is bigger than what can be accommodated in our sinks. A chemical spill gets treated the same way that chemical in the eye gets treated. You want to rinse it profusely, which means a lot, for 20 minutes. We've never had to use the safety shower here, thankfully. Another thing it can be used for is if any part of you were to start on fire, you would walk to the safety shower, not run, that will just fuel the fire. Walk to the safety shower and pull it down, and that will put that fire out very quickly. Pushing it back up stops it. So that's the safety shower. What you notice here is a fire extinguisher, and the fire extinguisher is rated for trash, wood, paper fires, liquids, and also electrical fires. If we were to need the fire extinguisher, you would take the fire extinguisher off the wall, pull the pin, and depress the handle here, pointing this nozzle at the base of the fire, and I'm not going to be able to manage the fire extinguisher, which is very heavy, at the same time as demonstrating it, so I'll just show you with my hands. You would depress that and you would point at the base of the fire in a sweeping motion to put that fire out. We want to avoid using a fire extinguisher on a person. The safety shower is the best bet for that because there are chemicals in there that we don't want on people. In a place where a safety shower might not be available is a fire blanket. We do have one in here. If an item were on fire on the desk or on the floor and we didn't have the extinguisher available, or if a person were on fire and we didn't have a safety shower, we've always learned stop, drop, and roll. Well, if the person is on the ground, if you pull the fire blanket out very quickly, it will come down. I don't want to pull it all the way out, but you can put the fire blanket over the person to keep any air from getting to feeding that fire. So a fire blanket can be used to help put out a fire. One precaution that I want to mention now is that if you're ever using a fire blanket on a person, you never want to wrap the fire blanket around the person. So let's pretend that this is the person. You never want to wrap the fire blanket around the person like this, because what can result is something called the chimney effect. The chimney effect is going to occur where the opening on the bottom, the air will come up and fuel that fire and possibly make that fire more intense for the person who you are wrapping in that blanket. So we never want to wrap around like this because of the chimney effect, and we want to put the blanket over the fire to stop the airflow from feeding it. Next to the fire blanket is our fume hood. It has sides that open and close. We use this for burning things that smoke a lot. And also if we're doing any chemical reactions in which toxic fumes are produced. In a couple weeks you're going to be doing a lab in which you melt sulfur, and this is going to be the place that you'll go if the sulfur ignites. We don't want it to ignite, but if it does ignite, then we would bring it here, we would allow it to burn off, and those toxic gases that are produced, sulfur dioxide gases, can be released up into the atmosphere. There is a gas jet here, so if you need a reaction to take place in which needs the Bunsen burner, you can do that in here. There's also water, so if you need a reaction setup that requires water, you can also do that in here. So this is the fume hood, used for burning things that have a lot of smoke, and also any reaction that results in toxic fumes that could be either poisonous or even irritating to the respiratory passages. So that concludes our tour of the safety equipment in this room. Please let me know if you have any questions or if I may have left anything out. And I will be asking questions about this on the quiz. So I hope it was informative if you were absent the day that this was given. And if you are watching it again, I hoped that it reinforced some topics. So thank you for watching. Signing out, Mrs. Banky.